Hey everyone, welcome back to Travel 101 and welcome back to another travel video. So I guess you're watching this video because you're considering going to Kiev. Initially, I was actually only going to Kiev to visit Chernobyl, but I ended up falling in love with the city and it ended up being one of the most beautiful Eastern European cities I've actually visited, and I'm going to show you why. Firstly, the residents of Kiev are extremely friendly. We did find communication just a little bit tricky. English isn't well spoken there compared to other European countries, so it did make things like ordering food and taxis very interesting, but to be honest, it isn't too difficult, especially if you've travelled to other non-English speaking countries. Now, let's talk money. Ukraine has their own currency called hryvnia. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but it is very easily to access. You can go to any of their local ATMs, which we found everywhere, but if you are bringing cash into Ukraine, we suggest bringing in euros or US dollars, as not all money currency exchange places will actually accept any other currency. Kiev is a relatively cheap place to visit, and it is one of the cheapest places to visit in Eastern Europe when you compare food and price of accommodation. So for example, if you're in Rome, you pay an average of 4 to 5 euros for a beer, but in Kiev you can pay as little as €1, which is amazing if you are on a tight budget. Eating out was such a treat in Ukraine because it was so cheap. We found meals really inexpensive. So for two of us, we would get a 3-course meal and a bottle of wine, and we would end up spending between 20 to 30 euros. And that was at a really nice restaurant. You can eat as cheaply as 5 to 7 euros per couple for a budget meal. So they really do cater for a lot of different travellers. When it comes to accommodation, it's just like the rest of Europe. You can find very affordable budget accommodation, or you can obviously go for the luxury option. Now, we stayed in an apartment style hotel, which was about 60 euros a night. It was a massive room and it actually had a huge sauna in the bathroom as well for private use, which was amazing. I'd never stayed in a place like that before, and it definitely was really great value for money for what we got. But in terms of accommodation, you can easily get a room for as little as 5 euros a night, all the way up to about 100 plus for a 5-star hotel. Everything in Ukraine is a little bit older and they don't really have a lot of modern accommodation, so do bear that in mind, as it isn't a place that is built up for tourism yet. There are a lot of tourists that do go there. In terms of the variety of accommodation and standards, it might not meet your expectation, but in saying that, there is a lot of history in these buildings, especially the one we stayed in, and I will link that at the end so you can have a look at our room. One of the things that surprised me the most about Ukraine was its grand buildings and wide streets. The buildings were so colourful and there was just so much detail and history everywhere we looked. When you do go to Kiev, there are a lot of sights to see, but if you are short for time, we definitely recommend checking out their churches and cathedrals. They're very different in the way that they look, and as well as that, Kiev is known as the city of domes, so you have to definitely check out a lot of their cathedrals. Now, if you are short in time, there are definitely 3 we recommend checking out. The first one we recommend is St. Andrew's Church. This church was completed and constructed in 1747. It boasts beautiful green and gold details, as you can see. The next one we definitely recommend you check out is St. Sophia's Cathedral. And it is one of the city's best known landmarks, and it's actually the first heritage site in Ukraine, which definitely does make it extra special. And finally, you do definitely need to check out St. Michael's Cathedral, and this is actually still a functioning monastery in Kiev. You can't miss it. It has a beautiful light blue exterior and these amazing gold domes that just stand out. Okay, so I really hope you enjoyed our mini rundown on Kiev, and I really do hope you consider visiting this beautiful city. I cannot wait to go back, and I have been looking at flights myself, so you may see another follow-up video soon. And if I missed anything and you are from Kiev, make sure to drop a little comment below and let us know some beautiful, amazing things that we should do in your city. Alright guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I cannot wait to see you in our next video.